Welcome everyone. Welcome to my global family. Namaste, Sat Nam, Shalom. We are having some difficulties on Blog Talk, so if you're listening, um, to me on YouTube or Facebook, please share with your friends because Blog Talk is having difficult electronic, mechanical difficulties. I'm just thankful that I have a YouTube channel and a Facebook, two Facebook platforms that I can share this information with you today on heart disease. We're preventing heart disease, Alzheimer's, and emotions. We're going to show you this morning, we're going to share with you this morning how to prevent heart disease and Alzheimer's and improve your healthy emotions. That's right. We want to share with you today about energy medicine because this week I actually got a text from my son, which is kind of unusual, about a new procedure to help people overcome Alzheimer's, I believe it was, or one of. Anyway, I'll be sharing that with you about this new procedure. So thank you all. Thank you, my global family, for joining me. I'll probably have to text some friends who are looking to go on the Blog Talk, but Blog Talk wasn't working for me, at least not yet. Sometimes I'll try to get in there during the breaks and see if they've corrected the problem, but they have a problem with their system is the message I'm getting. So I'm grateful I can still share some joint rolling with you, and we can get on to be about flying first. Love yourself. That's what the message is this morning, all year long. Can you believe we are at the end of another year? We only have, let's see, this is the 29th. We only have 2 days left in 2023. Adios, 2023. Welcome, 2024. We're glad to welcome you back or welcome you into our lives. It'll be a number 8 all year, revolving around us. Number 8, like an infinity on the side, infinity. We're moving into new beginnings. And from what I hear, it's going to be like a roller coaster from the profiteers and the astrologers. We're going to have quite a ride next year in 2024. So just get ready. And that is why I'm here, to help you prepare for a new adventure in your life and keep your body healthy and strong anyway. All right. So we're going to get moving, see if I have any text I need to answer. Let's see. I have to answer. Okay, I'm going to take the train to College Park. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. Are you ready? Are you ready to fly with some joint rolling? And if you're new to health and well-being, we start out with some Head rolling. I say head rolling, but what we're doing is lubricating and loosening up the neck joints. And then we go into shoulder rolling and some swimming in the sea of energy. And then we get on our backs, kick our legs up, and do the rolling of the ankles, the knees, the elbows, the wrist, and the hip joints. Why? Three major reasons why we're joint rolling and getting high on our joints, on life. Our circulation gets improved and gets boosted when we do joint rolling in on all the joints. Our lymphatic system gets drained and promoted and massaged when we do joint rolling. And our immune system, which is very, very important in the winter time, especially when the sun is not out as strong. So we're going to do joint rolling to promote those three areas, especially. And it gives you an emotional lift, I believe, when you focus on moving this sacred temple. This is a sacred temple in my mind. And I want to use this temple to the glory of the creator who gave me this temple. The energy of the universe put together this amazing vessel of love. I am a vessel of love, and I'm here to promote that love to you and exercise all these joints and body. And we do it to the music of, oh, I don't have the sound of healing. Oh, my studio's not working today. So let me see if I can pull up. I'm going to pull up some different music. I'm going to have to put the sound of blackness in my iTunes now that Blog Talk is not consistently working. I'm gonna put Yanni on. Yanni music is one of my favorites. Yanni has a song that I used to use in my yoga classes, yoga for seniors. So I'm gonna put Yanni on Sacred Ground. Oh, love this song. We're gonna bypass the sounds of blackness. Time for healing this morning, because it's on my Blog Talk studio, which I can't access right now because Blog Talk's not working. So I've got iTunes, and I'm going to put on Sacred Ground by Yanni. And this is just music to help us keep moving, keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. And I love it because the words again and the music fit what we're doing, harmonizing, symphonizing with all the parts of the human vessel. So this is on Sacred Ground. No, not that one. That's not Yanni. Okay, Yanni on Sacred Ground. Here we go. Yanni on Sacred Ground. All right, let's start with chin to chest, and let's roll slowly, roll the head around. And let's pause once and take a deep breath. Deep breath in, deep breath in, deep breath in, deep breath in, and exhale. One more time, deep breath in, through the nose, deep breath in, and exhale. Now we're gonna drop the chin to the chest, and remember to breathe as you roll. And roll this head around, and lubricating our neck joints. Stretching. And the back muscles too. Stretching. We're on sacred ground. We are in sacred temple. And let's reverse that stretching slowly. Take your time. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Take your time. Stretching all those neck muscles and your shoulder muscles and back muscles. All right. Take a deep breath in and out. Now let's roll those shoulders back. Roll the shoulders back. Breathing in, breathing and out. Sacred ground. Let's reverse that. Roll forward. Loosening up the shoulder joints and the back muscles. Your back muscles get a workout. Stretching and moving. That's how you stay young. You keep moving. Now let's just go swimming in the sea of energy. One arm back, one arm forward, and breathe. Now backstroke. Yes. Woo, feeling better now. Waking up this temple from a long rest at night. Waking up the temple. All right, let's pause. And let's get on our backs. Pick those legs up and roll over. Rolling around your ankles and your wrists. Get those synovial fluids moving. One direction, let's go the other direction. All right, let's pause, rub those hands together. Massage your knees a little with energy, and roll those lower legs around to lubricate the knee joints. Yes, moving. Energy is flowing. And reverse it. Reverse it. And now, if you have trouble rolling, you can just point and flex. And you want to do this first thing in the morning before you get out of bed. Point and flex. And with your knees, if you can't roll, just bend and straighten. That will lubricate and get your blood flowing. Just up and down until you feel a little bit of pain, not much. Until you feel your growth hormones moving. When you feel the stinging, you know that you're creating growth hormones. All right, so now we want to get on our side. Let's get on your side and roll that leg around to lubricate the hip joint. Yep, here we go. Right, we're listening to Yanni's Sacred Ground. The blog talk's not working this morning. I'm playing music for now. Let's reverse that roll. I'm going to get all this area, wake up all the hip area, we might prevent some hip surgeries. Getting all that synovial fluid in there, lubricate like a car. Gotta oil this vehicle, oiling the vehicle this morning. All right, let's flip over and get the other leg lubricated, rolling. Get all this area waking up all this. And now let's reverse. Reverse all your hip joint, even your groin area is getting some energy. We're going to talk a lot about energy in motion today. And one of the ways to heal the body is produce more energy in the body. Yes, that's how you heal, more energy. So now if you have trouble rolling your legs around like that, all you need to do, laying on your back, is lift one leg, straight leg at a time. And you're going to get the same movement in here and on your hip. Lifting those spine, lift the straight leg, up and down, lubricating, activating, and energizing. That's what we do on health and well-being. We are a sacred vehicle. All right. So you have done it. Now let's just bring our knees to our chest. Hug those knees. I love you. I love you. I love you. Rock side to side. Rock side to side. Massaging your spinal cord when you do this. And side to, now let's just rub the bottom of the feet. Rub the bottom of the feet. And the hands. Yep, bottom of the feet and hands. Warming them up, getting the whole body activated, getting those moving. And let's rock to one side. And push up. And we are done with rolling. Let's turn off my Yanni music. All right, give yourself a hand if you were rolling with me. And welcome if you're just joining us. We are here in YouTube. And Naima Latif has joined me, our executive producer, Grand Rising Beautiful. I'm looking forward to a great show. Yes, we are. We got a great show for you. And let's just finish off our joint rolling. Rub those hands together. Heat up the body. Heat it up. And we're going to place these hands on the back of the neck and activate our vagus nerve. Squeeze and release. Breathe in, squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. You can feel this energy flowing all the way to your toes. If you are squeezing and release, that means your body is moving, energy in the body, healing, restoring, and stimulating this body to work for you. So let's just give ourselves a pat down on the skin. The skin is your largest organ, external organ, so it needs some love. And especially here, I had someone call me and tell me they had a person had to have surgery for growths in their underarm area. Pat. You gotta know we don't want any pit or bulges here. We want a pit in here. So if you have any type of growth or swelling, start patting and move that energy. This is your lymph system here. Same side, pat down the arms every day. Give yourself a pat here. Let that lymph system move that lymph system. Right here, your thymus gland. Pat. Get that for your immune system. You need your thymus gland working efficiently for your immune system. You feel a cough or sore throat, start right here, patting your thymus gland. Get that thymus gland to work for you. That's what it's here for. And then give your breast some massage and some patting all around the breast. Let your hands massage and move your lymphatic system. No breast cancer here when your mind and your body are working together to move energy. Get pat around your navel. Give yourself a pat around the navel. Tap. Let that body know who's in charge. You. This is in charge. This is your command center right here. Tap, tap, tap. And then last but not least, back here, this is where your kidneys and your adrenal glands are. You want to make sure you give them attention every day. Love, love, love is the way to go. Love those kidneys and adrenal glands. Thank you, kidneys. Thank you, adrenal glands. Woohoo! All right, we are ready now to go into the studio and do some work. And even if Blog Talk is not working, we're still going to do our thing here this morning. Yes, we are ready. So welcome everyone to Health and Wellbeing with Viyahta. Let's take in a deep breath and exhale. Inhale, inhale, and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So this morning, we are talking about preventing heart disease, Alzheimer's, and your emotions. And I got an email or a text actually from my son, and my son doesn't always share things with me, but he did share an interesting article about a game-changing vaccine that could lower bad cholesterol by 30%. Let me open that up. And okay, actually that was one article, and the article was scientists. Okay, here's scientists destroy 99% of cancer cells in the lab using vibrating molecules. Now, I want to share this with you because this says a lot about the orthodox medicine, drugs, cut, burn, poison mentality of our society. And all year I've been sharing with you natural ways to heal the body, even cancer cells. And we're not talking about cancer so much today, but just this article alone shows you how our society, our scientists, our medical system promotes a mechanical way to heal the body versus a natural, energetic way to heal the body. So this article starts out, and I'm going to share it with you so you can see how it's promoted. Let's see. Yeah, I want to share this article with you to show you. Oh dear. No. Okay, to show you how the let's see. Okay, here we go. Yeah, okay. Scientists destroy 99% of cancer cells in the lab. In the lab, the words are key. In the lab, using vibrating molecules. Okay, so we are always looking outside of ourselves, especially scientists are looking outside of ourselves to heal diseases. It's strange to me that the dis-ease, the lack of ease that we find ourselves in when we are diagnosed with cancer or heart disease or Alzheimer's, men, mostly men, want to look outside of our bodies to find healing. And this article is just a typical example of that. That's why I want to share with you what we typically see in our journeys of reading and educating ourselves is scientists discovering things in the lab outside of our bodies instead of looking at the energy within and focusing on the mind, the powerful command center. This is what we have. So when I read this article, I came up with this show because I thought it's always mechanical ways to fix the body. Scientists have discovered a new way to destroy cancer cells. Well, it's new to them, but the body already knows how to balance out cancer cells because guess what? We all have cancer cells in our body. Why do cancer cells begin to explode and take over other cells? Starts up here. Starts up here. I'm suggesting it starts in the mind when you have a trauma or a major conflict in your life and you're on fight and flight and the mind is going, oh my goodness, I can't live, I'm depressed, I'm sad. All that the thoughts and the energy we produce from our mind and our thoughts is what causes the cancer cells, like you see on the screen here, to go crazy, to go in active mode, to expand and spread. They're already present, but they start spreading because we don't have a calm mind. We don't have a peaceful mind. So when scientists say they discovered a new way, here's how they are discovered. Here's what they're saying: stimulating aminocyanine molecules with near infrared light cause the cells to vibrate in sync enough to break apart the membranes of cancer cells. Ooh, wow, this blew my mind when I read that because I saw immediately the mechanical way to rid the body of cancer cells versus the natural way: breathing, meditating in the sun, affirmations. I am powerful, I am love, I am joy. This is the contrast we're looking at with this article here. And that's where my mind went immediately, was look at how scientists discover a new way to destroy cancer cells by stimulating aminocyanine molecules with near infrared light, cause them, the cancer cells now, to vibrate in sync enough to break apart the membranes of cancer cells. So it's just a matter of using some form of stimulation, thank you, Yah, to break up the cancer cells or bring the body back into balance or homeostasis. So the word stimulating is key here, and vibrating in sync to break apart cancer cells. Now, they go into more of this article about aminocyanine molecules are already used in bioimaging as synthetic dyes, commonly used in low doses to detect cancer. Again, going outside the body, using machines, using technology to diagnose, detect cancer. They stay stable in water and are very good at attaching themselves to the outside of cells. And here's a cute little graph about what's going on. Molecular jackhammer here. And they break up the cells, they stimulate them, and then the lights come on. And scientists, I think they just get a big ego when they do all this and they see this, because they study a lot. Men and women who go to college and universities, they study a lot. They build their egos. I have all this intellect. I have all this knowledge. And now I'm going to heal cancer cells. Yay! Well, it's already in us, is what we're going to talk about. The healing of cancer cells, Alzheimer's, heart disease. It's already here. It's already here. But I just want to show you a little bit how the scientific mind works that we're so used to depending on. And this little graph shows you how the vibration mechanism works. Well, here's a vibration for you from the mechanical to the natural. When you do breathing, like intense breathing like that, you are vibrating your cells. When you slap on your an arm like this, you're vibrating the meridians, you're vibrating your cells. You are activating right here in the middle of your arm. You are vibrating the heart and your lung meridians. This is the natural way to change the molecular structures in the body. But here we have an article that focuses on how the vibration mechanism works. The research team from Rice University, again, these men and women who research at universities, Texas A&M and the University of Texas, says the new approach, this is a new approach now, is a marked improvement over another kind of cancer-killing molecular machine. Oh my goodness. Just that phrase alone should bring out antennas in your brain in this magnificent computer brain, the command center. Open up, read that again. The University of Texas says the new approach is a marked improvement over another kind of cancer-killing molecular machine previously developed called Faringa type motors, which could also break the structures of problematic cells. Here, oh, I love that. Faringa type motors. Here, let's try finger type motors. Here in your sacred temple are your finger type motors. Finger tapping out the anger, tapping out the resentment, tapping out the sadness. Finger type motors here versus the machine previously developed cancer-killing molecule, which could also break the structures of problematic cells. You have problems with anger, resentment, no joy in your life. Try your finger type motors. Break up the problem here first. Meridians. Break up the problem here. Break up the problem here. Break up the problem up here. Action, motor activity. So they say it is a whole new generation of molecular machines that we call molecular jackhammers, says chemist James Tour from Rice University. They are more than 1 million times faster in their mechanical motion than the former Feringer type motors, and they can be activated with near infrared light rather than visible light. Now, I'm going to just move on from this article, but I just wanted to introduce you to or remind you of how men work. There's an interesting article, The Cause of Alzheimer's Can Be Coming from Inside Your Mouth. Number of scientists showed an alarming hypothesis. Alzheimer's just isn't a disease, it's an infection. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so this is from Science Alert that I just shared with you. Now, let's get back to the topic of the show. Natural healing of the heart, Alzheimer's, and your emotions. Breathe in, energy going through the cells. Breathe in and exhale. So today, we're talking about preventing heart disease and Alzheimer's. So I have invited some very important voices as usual to share with you. And I want to just go to, let's see, who do we go to first? This is an article also I wanted to share of a game-changing vaccine could lower bad cholesterol by 30%. Let me share that before we go to my video, because again, man wants to use their drugs and their jabs to lower something that the heart that is actually good for Alzheimer's. And this is how we move into the topic of Alzheimer's today, because there have been over the years, there have been studies or doctors saying that Alzheimer's can't be cured and they're working on new drugs to try and treat Alzheimer's that don't work. And here this article is talking about a vaccine could lower bad cholesterol. Well, it turns out that cholesterol actually helps Alzheimer's. It actually prevents Alzheimer's. And that's where we're going to go today, to show you how Alzheimer's can be prevented by building your cholesterol, which in the past we've been told you need to lower your cholesterol. In fact, it's the cholesterol lowering drugs that have contributed to Alzheimer's. Now, here, this article alone, a game-changing vaccine could lower bad cholesterol by 30%. Now, do you believe that? Really? Do you really believe that? Well, yeah, probably. Many people. It says high cholesterol is becoming an all too common health problem, now affecting almost 2 in 5 adults in the US. Now, a new vaccine currently in development, yay, promises to effectively and affordably lower levels of, quote, bad cholesterol in the body. And then they go on to describe what bad cholesterol looks like: type that cause dangerous blockages in the arteries, reducing oxygen flow, in tests on mice and monkeys. A team led by researchers able to reduce LDL, targeting protein called protein compound, blah, 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 blah. And here, look at those beautiful cholesterol receptors. The vaccine is based on a non-infectious virus particle, says molecular geneticist Bryce Chakarian from the University of New Mexico. Yay! It is just a shell of a virus, and it turns out that we can use that shell of a virus to develop vaccines against all sorts of different things. Oh boy, aren't we excited? Oh my goodness. So again, science loves to bring out, scientists, university employees, university students, researchers love to bring out all the drugs and vaccines that can cure your body. So I want to share with you one of the people, let's see, what is her name? One of the people I've listened to over the years, it's a woman who shares so much wisdom and knowledge about cholesterol and the truth about it. Vaccine scientists destroy. We want to learn the truth about, first of all, cholesterol and heart disease. And this woman has been in the top of her field, sharing about cholesterol and what it means. And she's one of my guests today to help us understand what's really going on with cholesterol and Alzheimer's. Let's see. I had her here. Do Alzheimer's and cholesterol. Okay, bear with me. The vibrating molecules. Okay, let me do this. Alzheimer's and cholesterol. Okay, cholesterol and Alzheimer's. Where is she? I don't know where this woman went. I had her in my... Okay, let me look here. Okay, it's Dr. I think I'm looking for... Okay, let me... Naima says, most Alzheimer's cases I have seen seem to have been triggered by an emotional trauma, the death of a loved one. Absolutely. Thank you, Naima. Yeah, Alzheimer's has so many different roots, causes, and one of them, of course, is the trauma that we experience when we lose a loved one. And so, Dr. Joel Wallach has been someone I've listened to years, years, and years. And he's the one I'm going to let you listen to because he knows how to teach about the body and so much more. So this is Dr. Joel Wall. I don't think it's an audio more than anything. It's only okay. It's 8 minutes. But Dr. Joel Wallach is an expert. He wrote the book called "Dead Doctors Don't Lie" years ago, and he started a company that produced a lot of supplements, but mostly he was just an excellent teacher. So he talks about Alzheimer's disease in a way that helps us really understand what's going on. So let's listen to Dr. Joel Wallach.
Hello, Tanisha. You're on the air. How can we help you?
Good afternoon, Dr. Wiles. Pleasure.
Hi. How can we help you?
I'm calling regarding my father who was diagnosed with vascular Alzheimer's and brain atrophy last year. He had a traumatic brain injury in 1990, hit by a truck. He had proton therapy in 2013 for prostate cancer. And he recently, late October, fell and fractured his hip. He had surgery, a pin in his hip. He's had exposure to mold and mycotoxins, poor sleep since the 80s. He had a night job, and especially after his TBI injury. Since the surgery, his cognitive memory has declined tremendously. So he is no longer wanting to go to the bathroom on his own. And in the last 2 weeks since I left him, he's eating some less and losing weight. He was 162 pounds, 6 feet, officially 6 feet, 162 pounds on the 6th of December. I'm sure he's less than that now. And he's 79 years young.
Okay.
And just trying to figure out the best I can help
Does he have any other issues like diabetes or high blood pressure?
Yes, he's on high blood pressure medication. He was on cholesterol medication. He's a doctor. So his medication.
Okay, now wait a minute. Stop.
Okay.
Well, cholesterol medication, statin drugs cause Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is a cholesterol deficiency. So is he still on the statin drugs?
No, I took him off of that a couple of weeks ago.
How long ago?
2 weeks ago.
Okay, so just recently you took him off, okay? All right, does he have gray hair, white hair?
He has gray.
Okay, and does he have any varicose veins or spider veins in his legs?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right. So, Charmaine, what would you do for Teresa's dad? He's got memory problems. He was on statin drugs until 2 weeks ago, so we know it was caused by the statin drugs. We'll talk about her dad. Okay. And Charmaine, you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Well, Tanisha's dad, has been on statin drugs until just 2 weeks ago, and he's got memory problems. She didn't say he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, but I bet it's Alzheimer's disease. Okay. And then he's had a traumatic injury.
Yes, he was diagnosed.
Okay, thank you. And he has a fracture of his hip, and so he had a hip replacement surgery. He has high blood pressure. He's on medication for that. He's 160 pounds, give or take a little bit, just short of 80 years old, 6 foot tall. What can we do for him?
Well, first we got to get him on a gluten-free diet. No wheat, barley, rye, oats, no fried foods, no burnt animal fat, and no oils of any kind. Very important. And then for all his issues, I'd get him on 2 healthy brain and heart packs. I would add 2 bottles of Ultimate Daily Classic and synaptive, and and MSM. He needs that just because we all need that.
And the 2 bottles of Ultimate Daily Classic. Wait a minute, he needs 3 of those twice a day to support healthy blood pressure and healthy blood flow through blocked arteries. But don't cold turkey off the high blood pressure medication. But as the blood pressure drops, you can slowly reduce the medication. Okay, go ahead.
And then I would suggest also vitamin D3 for absorption. Everybody needs that too. And then I would have him eat a lot of eggs every day. A lot of eggs.
At least 6, yeah.
Soft scrambled in butter at low temperatures so they're runny. Well,
very good.
Soft.
Why do you want the eggs? Doctor said eggs are bad. Why would you want to eat eggs?
No, he needs eggs for his brain. It stops him from getting Alzheimer's disease.
Yeah, well, see, your brain is 75% by weight. What?
Cholesterol.
Well, there you go. And that's the only place you're going to get good cholesterol is in the eggs. Just think about it. That egg has everything to take a chick from a 2-cell conception where this rooster sperm met the chicken egg inside the egg. So you had a little 2-cell baby chicken there. And in 21 days, that little 2-cell chick ate all that yolk and all the white of the egg and became a baby chick with a brain and eyes and heart and liver and lungs and kidneys and muscles and bones. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. That's nutrition. Okay.
Absolutely.
Anything else? Anything else we need to look at here? And you said the 10 bad foods, right?
Yeah, all the bad foods. Avoid the bad foods at all costs.
I'd also throw in the de-stress capsules, which is metabolism for the brain.
Right.
De-stress capsules. You go ahead and take 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. And
there's a lot of things he could take, but that's the basic stuff to help repair what's gone haywire.
Okay, good. Then call us every couple of weeks if you would, Tanisha, and bring us up to date. And anytime your dad goes to the doctor and gets an update, and they're going to say, "Oh yeah, our treatment's a miracle because his memory is coming back." Well, it's because he's been eating the eggs and the 90 essential nutrients.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Longevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of
Okay, so that was Dr. Joe Wallach. He is huge on supplements, and but the main point that he brings out for us is that Alzheimer's is a deficiency in cholesterol. What natural healing history medicine has taught us over the years is that fat is a good thing. It's just the fats that have contributed to disease are the oils that are processed. And so you get oils like sunflower oil, safflower oil. Those are the oils that have contributed to disease and ill health. But there has been a problem over the years that we have been struggling with Alzheimer's. And this next talk is about what is the hidden Alzheimer's scandal? Why is there still no cure? Well, I'm going to help you. As Dr. Wallach says, one of the cures is just increasing your cholesterol, believe it or not. And doctors and scientists, again, as we started out, have all these outside mechanisms that they have been trying to use to heal everything, cancer, heart disease. But there's been a scandal of sorts that we want to look at as to why there is still no cure. And this is another one of the information videos I found for you to listen to.
A certain level of the skin to stimulate collagen. This is the collagen.
The Alzheimer's scandal. Why is there no cure? Why has there been so little progress? Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. Alzheimer's disease afflicts more than 6 million Americans, and that number is on its way to doubling. It is a hideous ailment for both sufferers and their families and friends. Yet, even though the disease was first diagnosed by psychiatrist Alzheimer in the early 1900s, progress in fighting it has been almost non-existent. What is scandalous here is that for decades, researchers have been almost entirely focused on the wrong hypothesis. Dr. Alzheimer, noted in the autopsy of the brain of the patient with the disease that came to bear his name, was densely loaded with two proteins called plaques and tangles. Unfortunately, for decades, the dominant thesis in research on Alzheimer's is that attacking plaques and to a lesser extent tangles would cure the disease and enable the brain to regain its health. Alzheimer himself warned about focusing too much on plaques and tangles as causes. In fact, some sufferers of Alzheimer's had little in the way of plaques, while other people with plaque didn't have the disease. Nonetheless, despite constant failures, some 20 drugs have been developed that have ended up as flops, and the expenditure of tens of billions of dollars. The main thrust of research is still focused on fighting plaques. The obsession with this dead-end approach has been fanatical, almost cult-like. Researchers wanting to pursue more promising avenues have faced serious obstacles. Rarely has chronic failure resisted correction on something so important. Now, you may have heard of a new drug called lecanemab that is being heralded as a fantastic breakthrough. But lecanemab is based on this wrong-headed hypothesis. Noted health policy journalist Joanne Silberner sadly points out that, quote, at best, lecanemab might slightly slow a patient's inevitable decline for a few months, end quote. This research scandal shows the danger of groupthink, particularly when you have a powerful government agency like the National Institutes of Health kiboshing grants for non-consensus projects. A classic case of stifling Alzheimer-like groupthink was stomach ulcers. The once prevailing view was that stress and lifestyle were the causes, and drugs and regimens were developed on that belief. This dogma was challenged by two Australian physicians, Robin Warren and Barry Marshall, who posited that bacteria was the villain and that antibiotics were the answer for a permanent cure. When not ignored, their discoveries were derided. Only after many years and constant, sometimes unorthodox advocacy, especially by Dr. Marshall, did the medical world accept their truths. The two were eventually awarded the Nobel Prize for Medicine. In the case of Alzheimer's, the rigid research mentality has begun to thaw, but only a bit. To attack this deadly rigidity, Congress should hold hearings on the subject, starting with the National Institutes of Health. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and
No. And see, this is where I cut off people when they suggest Congress should hold more hearings. Oh my goodness. I've never watched so many congressional hearings this year in my life than I to see how useless Congress hearings can be. So this is what we're looking at: men trying to solve a problem that is available inside. The work that needs to be done is really in here. Here's one more article about, or one more video about how man is trying to solve the problem of Alzheimer's, and it's not working, because guess what? Their problem solving involves more drugs. That's what we look at. And here's just a typical traditional presentation of how we're going to solve a problem within.
Here to explain this major development is CNN correspondent and author of Keep Sharp, Build a Better Brain at Any Age, Dr. Sanjay Gupta. Sanjay, this is so important to talk about because past medications have improved cognition, perhaps, but not that much. This is a big number.
If this holds up, if this data holds up, and so far we've just heard from the manufacturers, the pharmaceutical companies themselves, but if it holds up, it could be a very big deal in the world of Alzheimer's, because as you say, there's not been a significant treatment that has had this degree of improvement in these patients really in a long time, if ever. So let me sort of talk you through this. It's a new drug. It's something that people have been watching for some time. Lecanemab is the name of the drug. They basically had 1,800 people. They had early stage Alzheimer's. Part of the group got this drug, the other group got placebo. And what they found after about 18 months, Brianna, was that there was a significant decline in overall cognitive worsening in the group that got the drug. So this is the thing. This is what people have been looking for some time now. We know people with Alzheimer's, they continue to progress in terms of cognitive decline. If this could slow that down, that's significant. Now, a couple things. The way that they measure this cognitive decline, they ask questions about memory, about orientation, about problem solving. When you see 27%, you may say, well, that doesn't seem like that big a number, but in terms of your overall function, your ability to function in your everyday life, it can make a big difference for somebody who has early stage Alzheimer's in terms of how well they can function, perhaps even independently or, in a home setting. So that would be a big deal. The other thing, and this is going to be a big topic of discussion as well, was that when you looked at this drug, it did seem to have an effect on these plaques in the brain. A lot of people have heard this, the amyloid plaques and their association with the disease.
Okay, so there you have the typical medical establishment's response to how to deal with Alzheimer's and dementia, basically brain issues, brain imbalance in the brain. So I want to just start now looking at the natural, powerful way to bring balance back to the brain, especially, and to prevent these diseases. Why do we want to prevent them? Because man, once you get a disease, if you don't use the energy medicine that is available in your hands, the energy medicine that's available all around you, then you're going to be at the mercy of the medical evil system, which we play many times here about what the root of this system is. So here's Dr. Sunil Dahan with 3 brain exercises to prevent dementia or Alzheimer's. They work together. And this is the type of information I want you to take in today, whether it's heart disease, Alzheimer's, or any disease. There are things you can do with your hands, with your brain, that can help you prevent these diseases, temporary lack of ease in the body, when you are consciously aware of the power within you to change what's going on the inside. So here's Dr. Sunil Dahan, one of my favorite internal medicine people, sharing his wisdom and knowledge about how to prevent dementia or
internal medicine physician. Welcome to another video. There can be fewer worse illnesses than dementia. I see this every single day in the hospital. What a horrible toll on the patient and also families, which are affected just as much as patients. Families everywhere are often devastated by their relatives who get dementia and all of the associated problems. Now, in terms of preventing dementia, there are never any guarantees, and I've talked about many of the lifestyle factors which can help to prevent dementia. And I want to focus in this video on brain exercises, brain activities that can help to prevent dementia. The brain is a very plastic organ. The neurons in the brain can regenerate and you can train them just like any organ or muscle in the body. And in fact, it has been shown that if you regularly do certain cognitive activities, you can significantly reduce the chances of getting dementia. It may not always definitely prevent dementia, but hey, if you can have an extra few years, those years are precious. Years of traveling, years of spending time with your family, your grandchildren, cognitively intact. And in fact, studies have shown that a cognitively active lifestyle in old age may delay the onset of dementia by as much as 5 years. That is a massive difference. So in terms of cognitive activities, brain exercises, I recommend at least 1 hour a day. Hopefully for anyone over the age of 65, which is the target age group, this is something which is easily attainable because the majority of people have retired. They should have the time to do it. And hopefully you will find these activities enjoyable as well. So here we go then. 3 brain activities, brain exercises that can help to prevent dementia. Number 1, short-term memory recall. One of the hallmarks of early dementia people become very forgetful with regards to their short-term memory. They get short-term memory loss. And there are lots of online games available which test short-term memory, but a simple activity that anyone can partake in: write down 5 random words, 5 items on a piece of paper. Repeat them 2 to 3 times, and after 10 to 15 minutes, see how many of them you remember. Hopefully it's all 5, and it can be very satisfying as well if you're good at this activity. But I recommend that activity regularly to test your short-term memory and work on those neurons, keeping them strong. Number 2, learning a new skill. Now, there is a common misconception out there that after a certain age, you can't learn anything new. What absolute nonsense. You can learn something new at absolutely any age, and it could be anything, hopefully something you enjoy. You can learn the basics of a new language. You can learn a musical instrument. You can learn a new card game. You can learn to play board games. You can play chess. Chess is fantastic for keeping cognitively sharp. But whatever it is, work on learning something new, hopefully every few months. Keep those neurons working hard and regenerating, and you can involve other people. Make it fun. Play with family. Play with your grandchildren. But keep learning new skills to keep yourself as sharp as possible. Number 3, reading and writing. Isn't it interesting how things come full circle? That's the first advice we often give to toddlers. We want to get them reading and writing. But many older people fall off a cliff with regards to reading and writing. And I'd certainly recommend more than just watching TV. I recommend actually reading. You can read the news online, keep your general knowledge up to date, what's happening in the world, and keep on writing, even if it's just typing out emails. But you must read and write. Don't lose those skills. Keep on using your neurons to read and write as much as possible. So those are 3 activities then that I would encourage anyone over the age of 65 who is watching, or if you know anyone over the age of 65, which is basically all of us, encourage them to do that. 1 hour a day on those activities. Short-term memory recall, learning a new skill, and reading and writing. And there's probably some overlap there as well. But we owe it to ourselves to keep our brain as sharp as possible. It is a gift, and there's no reason why people need to fall off a cliff after the age of 65. I'm also a certified personal trainer, and I can tell you that what applies to keeping your body strong and your muscles strong also applies to your brain. As I said at the beginning, your brain is a plastic organ, and those neurons can regenerate, and you can keep them strong. And you will always get those skeptics out there who says, oh, it won't make any difference. If you're going to get something, you'll get it. Similar to that overweight person who has type 2 diabetes who says, oh, if I had eaten a better diet and I'd exercised, it wouldn't have made any difference. Of course, it would have made a difference. You would have either not got type 2 diabetes or you would have got it much later. It's all about trying your best to lower your chances of getting an illness in life, whatever that illness is. As for dementia, it is a terrible, terrible illness. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, and I wouldn't wish it on any family. But most people out there have a story within their family, and they've seen the impact that dementia has. So if you can do something to lower your chances of getting dementia, why not go for it? Every year you have of life is precious, and do not underestimate the impact of doing your best to keep every part of your body as healthy and active as possible. Thanks, everyone.
So again, as Dr. Sunil pointed out, it's a horrible, horrible disease to have to be involved in or be with someone who's going through that. And that's why we're focusing on prevention. So my experience has been more and more understanding and practicing energy medicine. So if you're not familiar with energy medicine, this is one of the new things you can learn to prevent dementia or Alzheimer's. My go-to for the game playing, as Dr. Sunil suggested, is Scrabble and chess, as he said. If you're a senior, learn how to play Scrabble and chess. Scrabble introduces you to new words. And the way my partner and I play Scrabble, we call it senior rules. We don't just use Scrabble words. You know, there are words that are legitimate Scrabble words. If it's not, you don't get the word. Now we threw that out. And we created Scrabble for seniors. We put, if a word comes to our mind, we put it on the board. If the other person doesn't know what that word is, then we look it up, and we have discovered so many new words, because words come into our mind and we put it on the Scrabble board. And if it seems legitimate, we accept it. If my partner wants to challenge it, he can challenge it. Most of the times when he's challenged a word I put out that he doesn't know, he loses his turn, because it's a legitimate word. It's a fun way for us now to play Scrabble. Chess is amazing. If you learn how to play chess, I guarantee you're going to prevent Alzheimer's and dementia, because your brain has to be on full defense, offense mode when you're moving around those chess pieces. That's just games. Learn a new skill, reading and writing. Reading, I do more reading online now. I don't pick up books as much as I used to, but I'm reading all the time, things that come in my email. This is key to preventing any brain weakness. Now, I want to talk the rest of the show a little bit about energy medicine and how heart disease comes into this dis-ease picture, because the number one killer of people in the United States is heart disease, not cancer, but heart disease. And Black men especially are high in the heart disease category. Even Black women, everybody. It's not even a race thing anymore. Everybody's dying of heart disease. My dad, this man behind me, died of heart disease, heart attack. And we're going to go into why that happens on an energy level, more than just the heart, it's the organ itself, because the heart is pumping. What causes the heart to stop pumping? That's the question I've asked since my father passed, his transition, this man behind me. What is it that causes that heart to stop pumping? And I want to suggest it's a lowering of energy and vibration in the body, whether it's from food or chemicals. The environment within the body lowers its vibration, causing the heart to slow down. This is my professional analysis after over 35 years now, almost 40 years in the holistic health field. The heart is a pump that's run by the brain, and the brain and the heart work together with your microbiome, and the energy of love, companionship, relationship keeps that heart strong. So I ran across this video by Dr. Anne Marie. Let's see, I don't remember her name. Anne Marie Chasian. She does a basic energy healing video for those of you who may not be familiar with it. And I want to share that with you today to begin or to continue preventing heart disease, Alzheimer, and help building healthy emotions. Because I strongly believe that my dad passed from a weak heart in the emotional area of his life, being a relationship that was not healthy with his spouse at the time. So Dr. Anne Marie gives us a 3-minute energy healing for beginners, in case you're new to this field.
Energy healing for beginners. In this program, I'm going to guide you through a series of exercises that will clear, energize, and restore your body using energy medicine techniques. Energy medicine is an ancient concept that's found in cultures throughout the world, and it's being utilized more now in our culture to augment and stimulate healing. The basic concept is that we have a physical body, and underlying the physical body, there's an energy body. The energy body has energy that's constantly in flow and restoring balance to our physical body. Disease or illness occurs when there's a block in the energy body. So first there's a block in the energy body. Then the cells and organs begin to malfunction, and then finally disease appears. Problems can occur in the energy body with congenital abnormalities that we're born with emotions and experiences that aren't cleared from the body, with toxins that are placed into the body, or with injury and trauma, such as a fracture or even surgery, disrupted immediately. So energy medicine helps restore the flow and can speed healing. While the body is wired to heal itself, over time it can lose its ability to restore itself. So prevention of illness is an important part of energy medicine. Through clearing old blocks, we can augment the body's ability to self-heal. Energy can be moved in the body the same way energy is moved in our environment. For this program, we're going to primarily use movement and hands to move energy in the body. We will start by opening the lower half of the body and stimulating the energy flow in the legs and the hips. This will help connect us to a larger energy field that we're in connection with, the energy field of the earth. Then we'll do an exercise to clear our energy field of old blocks. And then finally, we'll move into restoring and balancing the energy body. Before we start, I want to speak briefly about pain. Pain is blocked energy. So it's almost as if there's too much energy or too much flow going through a channel that's too constricted or blocked completely. With chronic pain syndromes, when we add a tremendous amount of energy into the energy body, you may notice you feel well initially, but you may experience a small flare the next day. In order to prevent that, if you have chronic pain, I want you to do these exercises in a shortened fashion, maybe 2 minutes a day, but use the body balancing at the end of this program every day. I want you to do the practices in this program in the order I present them until you get to know them very well. After that, you can mix and match them. I hope you enjoy the tools that I present in this program and that you begin your own path into self-healing with energy healing.
Now, that is just an introduction for those of you who may be unfamiliar with energy medicine. There are tons and tons of videos on YouTube that can help you. I'm here every Friday to help you with joint rolling, tapping. That is all energy medicine. When you wake up in the morning and you start your joint rolling, kick those legs up, roll those, that's energy medicine because your circulation is starting to improve. Your lymphatic system is starting to drain and your immune system is being built up. So that's why I encourage you first thing Friday morning, do your joint every morning, joint rolling, get all these actions going. The body is like, oh, wow, wake up. Let's live. Now, as she said, in energy medicine, pain, for instance, is blocked energy. And one of the things we need to do to develop healthy emotions is to get rid of the blocked energy from our childhood. And this next audio is going to talk about 9 signs that you experience childhood emotional neglect. And I don't know too many people who didn't. So we're going to educate ourselves about 9 signs that you experience childhood neglect. And then what do we do about it? We pay attention to the blockages and the pain that might be from childhood neglect, that might be from other childhood issues, because it all starts in childhood. I know, even in the womb. Let's say it actually starts in the womb because mommy's emotions while she's pregnant, even daddy's emotions in her environment affect everything going on in that baby. Whether you're laughing or crying all through 9 months, you're going to have a sick child or a healthy child. So this next audio is about 9 signs you experience childhood emotional neglect, which contribute to the pain you are experiencing as an adult because you're replaying often the same emotional trauma you experienced as an adult, and you haven't let go of it. And so we want to do some tapping at the end of this to start the process of unblocking the pain in your body that could have been there for years from childhood. Let's just say if you see any of these 9 signs that relate to you, then that could explain why you are still suffering with heart disease, also whatever. But let's check out these 9 signs that you have experienced childhood emotional neglect and how you can now move into consciousness to heal that.
Children are emotionally neglected, they most likely struggle to process feelings. As they grow into adults, these unresolved issues hold them back in many shocking ways. Today, I want to address 9 signs in adulthood that we were emotionally neglected as a child. When I was in graduate school, we were taught that emotional neglect is a form of child abuse that occurs when a parent deprives their child of basic emotional needs. Things like comforting your child when they cry, asking them how they're doing, and supporting their emotional expression. And while that's still true, after spending thousands of hours with patients, reading all of the latest studies, and speaking with colleagues, I believe that focusing on the cause isn't enough, because most of us who were emotionally neglected didn't know it was happening at the time. We need to talk about how it can show up in our lives as adults. Which leads me to sign number 9, being out of touch with our emotions. This means that if I were to ask you to identify what you're feeling today, you might not be able to give me an answer. You won't know how to explain what agitation or even excitement feels like to you. And if you do feel something, you have no idea how to experience it and regulate it. Emotions, because they are so foreign to us, can feel out of control. We never got the chance to get to know our emotions or learn how they can be used, so we slowly lost touch with them. The reason this is the first sign I want to talk about is because it's at the crux of emotional neglect. When our parents don't support our emotional expression, it's often done because they themselves can't handle emotions. They are stunted, and therefore they can't support our natural reaction to the world. They have to suppress it or ignore it altogether. And I'm not saying this to condone their behavior at all, rather to help us understand why this could have happened. Sign number 8, being extremely defensive. A member of our community shared their experience with this. They said, I hate the question, what are you doing? Because it makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong and I'm being told to justify my stupid behavior right now. It triggers the worst fight or flight reaction in me, and I can't stand that I get so pissy about it because it's like never coming from a bad place. It's always genuine curiosity, yet I can't hear it without feeling like I'm being shouted at. When our emotional expression is constantly being suppressed, maybe we were told to stop crying or to just get over it, or we were ignored until we quote unquote calmed down. When someone asks us how we're doing or what we're doing, it can feel like an attack.
When you're ready to begin treatment for chronic lymphocytic leukemia, Calquence helps you do the fighting, and you can.
Like they're going to treat us just like our parents did, and we're going to get in trouble. It's almost like us just being there and having feelings is too much. That's another key issue with emotional neglect. When we don't get support for how we feel, any amount of feeling can feel like too much. I used to hear this a lot in my practice. Patients would tell me that they were scared to open up or talk about what was going on because they thought they would drown in it. Like all of the emotions they've stuffed down would somehow sweep out and like swallow them whole. And of course, it would feel like that if we were never allowed to have feelings at all, right? The idea of expressing anything is too much. In fact, we could have been told that we were always too much. So we associate emotions with being too much. Therefore, when someone comes along and wants to check in with us, we don't think it's safe. We get defensive and we shut down. Number 7, people pleasing. Now, I'm not talking about someone who wants to just keep the peace sometimes or goes along with things. I'm talking about doing whatever we can to ensure that other people are okay first. Because it's only when everyone else is okay that we know how to relax. That's why people pleasing is really just a form of manipulation. And yes, I was just as offended by that when my own therapist said it to me, but it's true because we're trying to ensure others are happy so that we can be okay. Which makes sense if we were emotionally neglected, we didn't know how to check in with ourselves. We only knew how to read other people and check in with them, meaning that if our parents were upset, that could mean that they were even more distant or cold towards us. And so it was in our best interest to keep them happy. Without realizing it, we may have been trying to keep them happy so that they would offer us the emotional support we truly needed. But that's just a thought. Number 6, we are often unable to ask for help. There was this meme going around where a guy was moving a couch, and the other side of the couch was being held up and wheeled by an office chair. Have you seen it? Anyway, the caption reads, "Them, how good are you at asking for help when you need it? Me," insert this guy. And it's funny because it's true. When we grow up thinking that we're too much and every feeling we have shouldn't be had at all, we can think that our needs aren't okay. Therefore, we don't feel comfortable or even warranted in asking someone else for assistance. And if you consider back to sign number 8, that we're extremely defensive, we can worry that if we do ask for help, it will be met with upset or frustration. And we don't want anyone to think that we are too much or we can't handle it. So we just don't even ask for help, even when we need it. Number 5, shame after even the smallest mistake. Our concerns, upsets, and painful feelings weren't accepted or maybe even acknowledged. So we grew up thinking we had to deal with everything ourselves. We could have even developed what I like to call toxic independence, where we take pride in doing everything ourselves. In fact, we don't need anyone else ever. But this is really a reaction to our parents' inability to support us. And if we believe that we are supposed to do everything ourselves, then when we mess up, we can feel intense shame about it. Or like a member of our community shared, I go to great lengths to cover up even the smallest errors. Because when people are mad at you, that means that they don't love you, so they cannot ever find out. This lack of outside support can put unnecessary pressure on us to be perfect. When we all make mistakes, and that's really how we learn and grow. Sign number 4 is that we want to isolate all the time. Being around other people means that we're reminded that we're too much, and it can make us want to people please, and we can worry that they're going to ask us how we're doing. And honestly, it can all just feel too overwhelming. Therefore, it's easier to be by ourselves, right? It's less stressful to be alone. Or as one member of our community states, I'm 35 years old. No one can be mad at me if they can't interact with me. In many ways, not interacting with others feels safer. We can't let anyone down or be too much if we aren't around anyone else, right? Obviously, the tough side of this is that we actually do need others around. It's how our nervous system is wired. And even if we try to tell ourselves that it's better to be alone, that loneliness feeling will creep in. It's like we're trying to remove one stressor that we think is upsetting us, and we end up creating an entirely different issue. Number 3, we compulsively lie. Compulsive lying is when we tell falsehoods out of habit because it feels safe, and sometimes for no reason at all. When this happens as a result of childhood emotional neglect, it's done because telling the truth may not have been accepted or safe. If we spoke up and said how we really felt, it could have been shut down or dismissed. If we actually asked for what we needed, it could have been ignored or laughed at. So we learned to lie to survive. As one person shared, it wasn't safe to trust the adults in my life with my feelings, so I developed a sense of safety in lying. It helps me feel like my personal inner truth is protected because nobody can invalidate it if they don't even know about it. The problem with this is while it may have helped us when we were growing up, as we get older, it can lead to other problems like issues at work or in relationships when they find out that we lied about something important. It can be stressful, hurtful, and just like the isolation we talked about, it can cause other issues for us. Sign number 2, difficulty making decisions. If we aren't in touch with our emotions, we often feel like we don't know who we are or what we want. And this can make it hard for us to decide between one thing and another. Also, if we're more of an anxious people pleaser type, we can worry that we're going to make the wrong decision and upset somebody else. So we can feel frozen when we're asked to decide. Speaking of frozen, this particular sign could also be a result of going into freeze. You know, our stress response, fight, flight, freeze. If having an opinion or a strong response to something was never okay, it can be triggering to be asked what we want and push us into our stress response. And finally, sign number 1, and this one is going to hurt. We seek out unavailable partners. I know that's a hard truth, But when our parents weren't emotionally attuned with us, we can think that that's what relationships look like and go out into the world seeking it out. When we find someone who isn't emotionally available, we can feel comfortable and want to attach to them because it's what we know as normal. And even if someone who is healthy and emotionally available seeks us out, we can feel like they're clingy or they just give us the icks. But don't worry, this is something we can overcome through therapy and by being curious, not judgmental, about who we are attracted to. It does take time, and you may be uncomfortable with it at first, but trust me when I tell you that it does get better. Know that even though our childhood may not have been the best, in fact, it could have been the worst, that doesn't mean that we can't heal and work towards a healthy and happy future. Our past does not have to dictate our present or future. You got this. I know you do.
Very positive presentation, information about who we are and why we are having these diseases in our life, Alzheimer's, heart disease. And I hope that those 9 signs are helpful for you to recognize, not just in yourself, but in other people, that they have been emotionally neglected as children. I have a granddaughter who has a really hard time making decisions. And her dad gets frustrated with her. And I'm recognizing that because of the divorce that she experienced as a young child, she's 9 years old now. And her parent, my son, and her mother divorced. It's been 3 or 4 years. So she was very young, 4 years old, I believe. It's been almost 5 years, 4 years. So I'm recognizing that my granddaughter needs to get in touch with her emotions, because what you just heard, the 9 signs that you as a child were emotionally neglected, are obvious symptoms coming up in your life as an adult or even as a child that tell you you need to get in touch with how you're feeling. Basically, Black men have a hard time with this one, not in touch with their emotions. That's why Black men in general have high rate of heart disease, I think. And even I saw a video that Black women have a hard time, are having a high rate of heart disease. Everybody's having a high rate of heart disease is the number 1 killer in the United States. Okay, it's not even a race thing anymore. You know, we could say Black women have a high rate of breast cancer. It has a lot to do with emotional neglect, that you as a child can't express how you're feeling. For instance, the first sign that she mentioned was being out of touch with your emotions. Hello. And again, I had a husband for almost 40 years who's totally out of touch with his emotions. He has diabetes, he has high blood pressure, all kinds of issues with his physical body. And I recognize that people who are, again, number 2, being extremely defensive. This is so important. I want you all to get this. When you have someone who gets triggered easily, I trigger people really well. I'm just good at this. I used to apologize a lot for triggering people. I don't do that anymore because I've realized that some of us are here to trigger your BS, the childhood belief system. The BS in this case is belief systems. If you're holding on to childhood belief systems like Jesus loves me, this I know, and all the things you learned in kindergarten and Sunday school, and then as an adult, you're struggling with many physical problems, dis-eases, lack of ease, then there's something going on in this sacred temple that's blocked, especially if you have pain. Remember, pain has to do with blocked energy. Pain, again, blocked energy. Think of whatever, headache, heartache, whatever, blocked energy. So what are emotions? Emotions are energy in motion. If you are feeling sad, depressed, neglected, resentment, anger, hurt, and you don't acknowledge it, guess what? You're going to block it from flowing out of you. Hate needs to flow. It's okay to feel hate. It's okay to feel sadness. It's okay to feel resentment because they're natural emotions. I have had so many emotions about Palestine over the last 80 some days now. Once I heard about it, saw all the videos of children buried under rubble, blah blah blah, all the emotions of sadness. How could this be happening? What's going on? I had to process all that. It's like I can't hold on. You can't hold on to something triggered in you because some Satan Yahoo is making decisions to keep the bombs flowing. Even Biden and company in the United States making decisions to keep the bombs flowing and killing people and destroying. You can't hold on to those emotions because they will cause all kinds of blockages in your body. You're blocking the flow of energy. If you're holding on sadness, I feel sad every day. I'm so sad about what's going on over in the Middle East. I'm so sad. You're going to block the flow of your blood and your adrenal glands and everything else. Those hormones are going to come up, cortisol, adrenaline, they're going to come up. And if you don't keep them flowing, pain, you're going to have pain. I've learned this over the last 40 some years, living with a man who did not get in touch with his emotions, built frustration in me. And I had hip pain for years and years. I had hip pain in my right hip all the time. It's like, why is this pain here? I had x-rays done. I had sonograms done. I had everything done. Why isn't this pain? Nothing. They could not tell me anything was wrong with my right hip. Nothing. Until I met someone like Donna Eden. Donna Eden is a wonderful energy specialist. She helps you unblock everything. So I started listening to people like Donna Eden and practicing EFT, tap, tap. Why is this pain in my hip? This pain in my hip, this pain in my hip, this pain in my hip. I had a man just this year tell me that the pain in my lower leg was about anger toward my father. I'm like, what? Anger? I love my dad. I love my dad. But he said it happened when you were about 8 years old. I'm like, 8 years old? What? 8 years old? My parents divorced when I was about 8 years old. I didn't express any anger about it, but I felt it. I felt the anger, but I didn't express it. I was angry that my dad deserted my mother and his 3 girls. He didn't desert us. He was still around. My dad was always around. My dad paid alimony till my mother died some years ago when he was on his 3rd wife. So he was a man of integrity. But I was angry that my dad divorced my mom and I didn't express it. So as I got older, pain would show up and I'd take aspirins. I had horrible menstrual cramps. Oh my goodness, horrible menstrual cramps. Pain, blockage, blocked energy. And then even this year, it seemed like the pain started moving out, but it's got stuck in my lower right leg. And this guy said, your anger toward your dad is still in you. It's like, what? I worked on that. I haven't had any pain in that leg for, I don't know, months. I don't even think about it anymore. And whenever I do have pain in my body, energy medicine is think about where is the pain. Bring your thoughts to that pain. I have a pain in my shoulder. If you have a pain in your shoulder, pain in the shoulder, I'm moving the pain out of my shoulder. I'm unblocking the pain from my shoulder. Unblock. Instant relief for me now. I'm walking and my knee starts hurting. My command center goes pain in the right knee. Unblock. Healing the pain in the left knee. Healing. Sending love to that part of my temple. Gone. Unblocked. This is energy medicine that moves your emotions, your energy in motion out. No more hate, no more resentment, no more sadness, no more resentment, no more what's the other one? No more jealousies, no more sad. All these emotions that you're feeling need to go because they cause pain, blocked energy, which can lead to heart disease. Heart disease. My dad, bless his heart, rest in peace, resting in joy now. He and his wife, for years after she had that child, two people don't believe the same about raising a child. Conflict galore. And my dad, one of those who didn't process his emotions, out of touch with his emotions. So I want to just play this one more. Why is heart disease the leading cause of US deaths? It's not just black men, black women, it's everybody. The whole country, US, is having problems with heart disease. So here's a little clip that you'll find on the internet that is going to try and describe why people are having heart disease. But it's not the full story, is what I want you to understand. Public health. This woman's she's a science educator, and she's going to try and explain why people are having heart disease. But listen, and then we'll go into more energy truth.
A science educator, and today we're going to talk about heart disease and what public health does about it. We tend to associate heart disease with aging men, but it can affect anyone. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says that heart disease accounts for 1 in 4 of all deaths in the US. And while some studies have shown a decline in these rates since the 1960s, it's still the single leading cause of death in the world today for adults of all races and genders. Now, heart disease isn't actually a single disease, but a group of them. And all of those diseases fall under the broader category of cardiovascular disease, which is itself an umbrella term for all the health conditions affecting the heart and blood vessels. In 2016, nearly half of US adults were living with some form of cardiovascular disease. Part of what makes heart diseases so deadly is that they often don't show many obvious signs until they're already late stage. Take coronary artery disease, or CAD, which happens when the arteries supplying oxygen-rich blood to the heart muscle narrow or harden. And when the heart muscle doesn't get enough oxygen, it can start to die. That's what we call a heart attack. Unfortunately, most people don't know they have coronary artery disease until they experience a heart attack. It's no wonder that CAD killed over 300,000 people in 2019, and that's just in the US. What's more, heart attacks themselves don't always look like we'd expect. 1 in 5 of them are silent, meaning they're so mild or brief that people ignore them or confuse them with exhaustion or heartburn. It also doesn't help that the most well-known symptoms of heart attacks, like sudden chest pain, are based on medical studies done on men. Women, on the other hand, are more likely to experience subtler symptoms during a heart attack, like nausea and vomiting, lightheadedness, or pain in the back, stomach, or jaw, actually increasing among young women. But because research and prevention of heart disease has been focused on older men for so long, women who present different symptoms tend to be overlooked, which can lead to worse health outcomes. One study, which looked at data between 1995 to 2014 from various parts of the US, found that hospitalizations for heart attacks increased 10% for women between the ages of 35 and 54, and only 3% for men in the same age group. These women were more likely to have high blood pressure or diabetes, which are conditions that can damage blood vessels and make circulation more difficult, often leading to heart disease. But doctors were less likely to screen or treat women for heart disease, even if they show these risk factors. One piece of good news here is that many of the risk factors for heart disease are modifiable, which means we can make lifestyle changes to address them. We can avoid smoking to prevent the hardening of blood vessels and eat nutritious foods like vegetables and whole grains to ensure heart health. But similar to how gaps in heart disease research can affect individual health outcomes, Public health recognizes that there are factors outside of us that can impact how easy it is to make heart-healthy choices. For instance, the American Heart Association found that people were more likely to experience cardiovascular disease if they lived in neighborhoods with limited access to healthy food, spaces to be physically active, or healthcare facilities. That means that sometimes the best medicine for heart disease isn't a pill, it's a public health program, like the program that the American Heart Association sponsored in 2018. The AHA brought a team of healthcare professionals and educators to under-resourced neighborhoods in Philadelphia to help raise awareness of heart disease risks and prevention. The team also offered blood pressure checks, nutrition counseling, and an on-site farmers market. At first, the project only reached around 30 people at each site. But after connecting with the local church and building trust in their community, the team was able to connect with almost 1,300 people, which is a great example of how a tight-knit community can improve public health. So heart disease may be the leading cause of death in the US, but because there are so many factors contributing to its prevalence, public health professionals aren't locked into any one solution. Everything from improving education to bringing in healthy food options can make a meaningful impact and help people live healthier lives.
So in other words, your environment inside and out are key ingredients and factors to having a healthy heart. And my experience with my father, who lived to be 95 years old, was that the heart is actually affected more by the relationships you're in with yourself, with your creator, and with other people. Three key areas, in my opinion, as someone who has been in the holistic health field for over almost 40 years now, studying, reading, interacting, and helping other people, clients occasionally, get their bodies back in balance. Three areas: your relationships. This is a ship, this vessel. This vessel is a ship moving around the earth, a sacred vessel moving around the earth. So your relationship, number one, I believe, with yourself is going to determine whether you're going to have any dis-ease. How do you feel about yourself? Do you absolutely love yourself unconditionally? Or do you get in the mirror and say, you're ugly. I hate you. But you're going to have some kind of disease showing up if that's the way you feel about yourself. Look in the mirror. Oh, you are beautiful. I love you. Look in that mirror and speak to yourself and tell self how beautiful you are, how wonderful you are. That's the beginning of unblocking emotions you have stuffed in there from your childhood, like I did. Being upset with my dad for divorcing my mom all those years and not really expressing that disappointment and that sadness and that anger for years. I had to express it to myself and admit it. So relationship with self, key, very key in overcoming and preventing heart disease, Alzheimer's. I love you. I kiss myself. I love you. I love you. I love you. That's key, important. Nobody else can love you like you can. So let's just love each other. Love yourself more than anything. Second, your relationship with the Most High, creator of the universe, spirit, Yahuwah, God, whatever you, the energy of that created this universe is all around us in the form of trees. I saw The Color Purple. Oh, I love that movie because the tree. Oh my goodness, Zelda, where are you, Zelda? Did you see The Color Purple yet? That, I know you must have fallen in love with that tree. The beginning of the movie was this amazing tree, and the movie was shot in Georgia. So I imagine that tree is somewhere in Georgia, but they have a tree like that in Hawaii too, the banyan tree. The tree, when they started the movie, I said, I know I'm going to love this movie if they keep this environment, the creators' elements in front of us. And they did. It was shot in Georgia where there's all kind of trees and water, and just the visual was amazing. And that movie reminded me so much of my grandparents, how they built their own houses, had their own businesses. So the positive elements of The Color Purple were more were stronger for me than anything else. That the negative behavior of Mr. Johnson. Johnson is my family name, so I identified with even the Johnson and Mr. the abuser. But then there's a woman abusing the men. So when you look at The Color Purple, you can see all the reasons, or many of the reasons, why people develop disease and why they overcome when they develop their own business. At the end, they're around this tree uniting as a family. So the positive elements of this movie came through very strong for me to point out to other people why it's a good piece of entertainment, basically. The Alice Walker, who wrote the book, presented her story, but the way they put the movie together and the musical and the music, and my favorite musician, John Batiste, was in this movie. Cute little thing he is. And I just had such an amazing experience watching that movie, thinking about my grandparents. And what the bottom line for me was that for that movie, for us as a people, is get back to basics. Get back to building your own houses. Get back to tiny house living. They had a big house, but there was a lot of conflict and disruption in the big house. But the small house, there was music and lessons to be learned, but building their own house. They had their own businesses. And the quilts. Oh my goodness. I think at the end, they really highlighted the quilt making. My grandmother made a quilt for all of her grandchildren. I still have a quilt, my grandmother's quilt, on my bed. So that quilt is almost 70 years old, but I love it. And I patched it because of the wear and tear on it. I put my own little color patches in that quilt. I might bring that out at the end. But those are the environments that we can enhance in our life, remembering what our grandparents did, building their own businesses. But the key here today, as we work on preventing in 2024 is the number 8. If you add 2024, we're moving into the 8 of the sign of infinity. If you look at the number 8 on the side, it's the sign of infinity. So we're going to be in a very powerful energy of new beginnings next year. And I want to encourage all of you to let 2024 be the new beginning where, number one, you love yourself more, you love your environment more, and your relationships around you are healthy relationships. Get away from any narcissistic energy that you can't handle. I have at least a couple of people in my life with very strong narcissistic energy. They're very controlling. And I have to admit, narcissism is a spectrum. Narcissism is a spectrum. You have extreme over here, like Netanyahu is the extreme Netanyahu narcissism, kill him, control. That's extreme. Then you have Trump, who's on the other that end. He wants to control everything, and egocentric, and it's all about me. It's all about me. It's all about me. And then you have on the other end people who occasionally display selfishness, occasionally display control, but recognizing in your life people who are on the extreme end of narcissism, you need to stay away from them. Stay away. You cannot change these people. I'm telling you, if you watch enough YouTube videos like I did 5 years ago, when I recognized that the person in my life was causing me to cry, I said, okay, what's going on here? That's when I woke up to the word narcissism, which is just egocentric, self-centered, controlling people who are very self-centered. Though that's the environment we have to watch out for. and the relationships we need to get away from next year. Recognize them, whatever it takes, get away from extreme narcissistic people. So, self relationship, we're going to improve and keep the love going for self, love for nature, the creator, having a relationship with nature, the birds, the trees, the animals around us, the sun, the sky, and then relationships with other people, only healthy relationships with people on a regular basis. No regular narcissistic energy around us. That's how we're going to prevent heart disease, Alzheimer's. Learn how to play chess, learn how to play Scrabble, learn new things next year. Make that your to-do list for the year. Learn new things every day. If you go on YouTube, at the end of the day, if you haven't learned anything new, go on YouTube and just type in something you don't know. Anything. What's going on in Paris? What's going on in Cuba? Whatever you have no knowledge of, type it in YouTube and just watch a video and learn something new. You're going to enhance and improve your brain power. Now, let's do a little tapping, because those 9 signs that you have childhood emotional neglect are very important. And if you want to watch that again, just come back here to my channel, YouTube channel, or go to my Facebook pages and you can watch that video again. 9 signs you experience childhood emotional neglect and how it's showing up in your life right now. Tap on it every day. Watch that video and then realize, what are the areas? Are you a people pleaser? Are you out of touch with your emotions? You have a hard time identifying why you just had an outburst on a stranger. Do you have trouble identifying what the emotion was behind that? Maybe it was hate for your mother, your father. Being extremely defensive. Oh, this is a big one that I've learned a lot about. When people in your life are very defensive, other words, they get triggered easily. I do that. I'm so proud of myself. I trigger people, and then I pause when I'm noticing people in my life are being extremely defensive. I realize, number one, they're triggered by some emotion within. And then I realized too, every child who was emotionally neglected, as an adult, they need to be right all the time. We, as an adult, if we find ourselves in a conversation or a situation that's going to test our belief system and we don't like it, we get angry, but you need to be right, because you were always told you were wrong as a child. You sit down, don't talk, listen to adults, don't tell me how you feel. I don't want to know how you feel. You just do what I say. That's the experience many of us had as children. Don't talk. Children are to be seen and not heard. How many of you have heard that one? Children are to be seen and not heard. Don't say a word. So then we stuff our emotions, just like with my parents' divorce. I didn't say much. I just grieved for years that my father wanted to divorce my mother, who was a great housekeeper. She was a great housekeeper, great cook. I'm like, why would he want to leave her? Stuff that, be seen and not heard. So being extremely defensive, people in your life need to be right. Why? Probably because they were always wrong as children. Now they're grown up and they need to be right. And how dare you challenge them in their belief system that they might be wrong. So people pleasing, you got people, I got to buy so-and-so a gift. I got to do this for somebody. I want to be this. I got to be, and they neglect their own. I have people in my life right now who I see that very obviously, and they're neglecting their own health. I'm seeing circles under their eyes. They have allergies. They're taking allergy medicine. And their behavior and the physical signs are telling me, and they always want to please everybody else, but they're eating a lot of crappy processed food. This is someone who's fairly close to me. I'm not going to name names, but I'm like, ooh, people pleaser, and then it's obvious the childhood emotional issue is there. People unable to ask for help. They don't want to ask for help sometimes. Shame, isolate all the time, compulsive liars. Oh boy, I had an experience for 3 years with someone in my life who was just a compulsive liar, telling you things and then they don't follow up on it. They're lacking integrity. Recognize these people in your life who you don't want in your life anymore. Avoid them at all costs so that you can avoid dis-ease in your life. And then seeking out unavailable partners, difficulty making decisions, all those things. So as we go into the year, we want to be tapping on here to activate your small intestine meridian that says, even though I have had a very a traumatic childhood, a very neglectful childhood with emotions, I deeply love and accept myself. That's the first key to tapping. First step to tapping out the old emotions, the old blockages, the old pain is recognizing that even though I'm a people pleaser, even though I'm out of touch with my emotions, even though I'm unable to ask for help, even though I feel shame a lot about what I've done in my life, I've done so many bad things. I was a prostitute, I was a liar. Even though I've done all those things, I deeply love and accept myself as I am this day. Tapping points are in between the eyebrows. This shame I felt, this out of touch with my emotion, this isolation, this difficulty I have making this, tap it out, remembering what you want to unblock. Be this extremely defensive attitude I have. This need I have to be right all the time. This shame I'm feeling, this anger I'm feeling, this hurt I'm feeling, all this anger, all these negative emotions I don't want anymore. I choose to be loving. I choose to be kind. I choose to be grateful. I choose to be one with the universe. I choose to accept things I cannot control. I choose to believe I am powerful. I am powerful. I am love. I am joy. I am peace. I am perfect in the way that I choose to be this day. I am loving. I am kind. I am beautiful. I am masterful at everything that I do. Grab your wrist. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Blow it out. Peace. Peace. I have peace. I have peace in my life. And I am grateful. This is our mission for 2024, that we be grateful and that we work on all those childhood neglect problems, tapping them out. And I have Zelda, our Monday morning host here this morning. Grand Rising, beautiful queen teacher. Thanks for the triggers. Thank you, Zelda, for appreciating the triggers. Still releasing daily, weekly, even hourly. Yes, that's how we heal. What an experience. Thanks for the lesson. Still processing. We are a processing machine. And Zelda says, going with the flow. Thanks for Donna Eden. Great news. Yeah, Donna was a powerful influence in my life to help me heal from my dad's pain, the pain of my dad divorcing my mom. And yes, quilts are a mainstay in our culture, now being copied by corporations in severe overprice. Yes, they are. Thank God for sisters in Chicago who still teach it, local art. Yes, and I even have she said lost art. I even have a place here near me in Eatonville or in Winter Park. There's a place near me that teaches quilting. That is something you can do to prevent Alzheimer's. Learn how to quilt. How about that one? Among other things, let's take up a new skill, share it with one another, and then help one another to be our very, very best. So we're at the end of our show. I want to thank all of you for joining me this morning. May you have a beautiful, safe, happy New Year's Eve, if you call it New Year's Eve, whatever. And please show joy, laughter, smiles to everyone you meet. Everybody needs a smile. I haven't found anybody that I face that doesn't react from a smile. If you smile at people, they usually smile back. And if you say something beautiful and uplifting, that is unblocking the depression that they're going through, the sadness. It opens them up to joy. It opens them up to joy. So smile at someone today. Say hello to someone today and give them an uplifting word to help them along the way. So we'll be back, Female Solution tomorrow at noon. Let's see, is this the last, let's see, 1, 2, 3, this is the 5th Saturday of the month, so we'll have something special for you tomorrow on the Female Solution. And I'll be back, maybe. I'm wondering if I need a day off for Sunday, because I have to get up really early in the morning Monday to travel. So I may be on a Sunday night, Soul Purpose Healing. I'll send out a flyer if I am. But everybody, please go out, get some sunshine. The sun is out here in Florida, even though it's 50 some degrees. I'm still going out and take a walk and enjoy the day. Love you all. Shalom, namaste, satnam, muchos gracias, and all that good stuff all over the globe. And aloha to my friends and family in Hawaii, Maui, Lahaina. Stand strong, stand strong. They be maybe grabbing that land, but this land, you can still control this land called the human biological computer. Love you all.